All right, so I want to talk about the Batman costume I'm working on. I'm actually looking at it, it's a lot of it right on my right, and there's a backstory behind it. I kind of came up with this idea that this particular Batman is not what we've ever seen before. Usually we see Batman as Bruce Wayne, and he comes from a very, very successful family. And my idea for this, what this suit represents, is a Batman that actually is not Bruce Wayne. He may be somebody else. I don't know his name, but he obviously something must have happened to him that made him want to fight crime. But he doesn't live in these areas where Bruce Wayne would live. He's actually somebody who, in a way, is kind of Catwoman. How Catwoman lives, she kind of lives in a bad part of town, and this is what Batman, this particular Batman, is, at least in my mind, what the suit represents. And so it's very practical. He tries to put a couple things together, maybe makes a couple things. He makes the mask himself, and he doesn't know he's Batman, but he knows he wants to beat a bat, I guess. And he sort of has maybe an experience with that, particularly because maybe he is into it. So he's probably around 25, and he he lives in a bad part of town, and he tries to fight crime at night. And in the day, he's trying to make a name for himself so he can get out of what he's living in the bad part of town, and you know where the crime is, and he wants to be able to advance himself and be able to be successful to do his job better at fighting crime. And so Catwoman kind of comes into the picture, and I would say she's obviously fully developed in her Catwoman persona, but she's the opposite of what you typically think of Catwoman is. She's very successful at stealing things, and they meet one night, and they obviously there's a mutual connection, kind of typically how that is, but he ends up in his day life. They meet each other, and they obviously know they're who they are under the mask, and they fight it out, I guess, or whatever. But they kind of develop a relationship. She's sort of a mother figure to him and kind of helps him trying to find his way and be able to be successful. But I think in the end of this story, there's gonna be a point where he has to turn on her because he knows what she's doing is wrong, and so that's sort of what this kind of deal is going to be about. At least my idea of what this suit represents. So I just want to talk about that. I hope I described it. Hope that makes sense. But I think it would actually be a really cool story or short film. So yeah.